Hey guys, this special episode of Pulp Secret at Comic-Con is brought to you by Death Race, starring Jason Statham. Check it out in theaters August 22nd.
Hey guys, Alex and Justin here. We're talking with Geoff Johns. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
So let's talk Superman. You got a lot of Superman stuff going on. Probably the biggest thing is New Krypton.
Yeah,
coming out.
New Krypton. It comes out of the Brainiac and Atlas arcs that James and I are working on right now in Action Superman.
Yeah.
Essentially, Kandor is enlarged on Earth. There's 100,000 Kryptonians, and they decide to declare Earth New Krypton. They're very excited about it. Like, this is wonderful. What a great place.
Yeah.
And Superman's like, you can't do that. They said, well, why not? I'm sure everybody will like us. And they go off into the world, and chaos ensues.
Adding Krypton back and the Kryptonians, that really changes kind of the basic nature of Superman.
It does.
How do you feel about doing it?
Well, it's a story all about what it means to be the last son of Krypton and what it doesn't mean to be the last son of Krypton, and how Kal-El is different from all these other people. How him, being raised on Earth by Mom and Pa Kent has made him a different being, a different person. Is he Kryptonian or is he human? That's always kind of the line we're walking on this storyline, and that's part of the purpose of it. But also, we're going to reinvigorate. Supergirl is going to come into it. She's going to play a central role in the storyline, and a couple of Superman villains are going to be reintroduced.
It seems like you have kind of a real thesis for the books. All the books are going to start tying together a little bit more and elevating Superman back. Since no one really knows who he is.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of finally in the spotlight.
Yeah. Well, and it's you, James Robinson, and Sterling Gates on Supergirl all working very closely together on the storyline. Right?
Yeah, we're all from LA. Like, we all live in LA, so we're working. I mean, you have to work close when you cross over.
Yeah.
But we already talk all the time about comic books, and so it's it's easy. It's easy to get together and work on the story. The story's it's a big story.
Yeah.
Well, is it going to be one big story, or is it still Supergirl is going to be Supergirl, Superman, Action Comics, Action Comics?
A little bit of both. There'll be like thematics and characters that will get more spotlighted in their respective books.
Yeah.
Obviously, Supergirl needs Supergirl's book. In Action, we'll have certain characters we follow more than we do in Superman, but it's essentially one big story. But the idea is that it's a piece of a bigger arc that all three of us are building for the next 2 years.
How much of the rest of the DC universe will be affected by Kryptonians?
Eventually, you'll see quite a lot. But for now, I don't want to get into the story too much yet. But
Sure.
You would think a couple of them would probably be like,
Hey, wait a second. I know
What are you guys
Superman,
doing?
and you are not Superman.
So we're gonna play around with that.
And you're writing an episode of Smallville.
I am, yeah. We just announced we're writing an episode of Smallville. I'm going to introduce the Legion of superheroes into that. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be episode 9, I think, this season, called Legion. So it's be fun.
How's that going to work? Just because Legion, Smallville is very much based more in reality.
It'll be a real grounded look at time travel.
Oh, that's great.
But no, it's like, I can't really get into details yet, but it will be faithful to the comic books, as faithful as possible. But it will be in a grounded way. But from the 31st century, you can't deny that. So we'll go from there. But it is like Legionnaires that we know and like.
Love.
Yeah,
Yes.
love.
To be fair, yes.
That's a good transition talking
Yeah.
into Legion of Three Worlds.
Oh yeah, Legion of Three Worlds.
Yes.
George is killing on that issue.
Yeah.
He's wrapping up issue 2. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just the most amazing work he's done in a long, long time. It's a lot of fun. It's probably a lot bigger. There's a lot more stuff happening than I think people realize yet.
It's like 100 characters per panel.
Yeah, per panel and 20 panels per page.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and they're all different characters.
Yeah.
But no, it's really exciting to be on that hook with George Perez doing Superboy Prime is always fun to write. Always. He never gets old. I just have to look at the internet and get a couple quotes and put them in his mouth. That's pretty fun.
How's the Legion of Three Worlds going to affect the rest of the universe? Is it going to be kind of a wallop to the rest of the... There's so much going on in the DC universe right now. Final Crisis and everything.
There is. I mean, he's kind of like a nuclear bomb that goes off in the 31st century. And so Brainiac 5 says, there's this parallel Earth Superboy. We need to fight fire with fire. So he recruits these other legions.
But then the end of it is going to tie back in a little bit, right?
Yes. It actually ties into the DC universe across the board a lot more than we can say yet. but you'll see a lot of things that happen within this series that affects literally every book I work on.
Yeah.
I created Death Race 6 years ago. I now have as many viewers as the Super Bowl. The drivers are convicts, and the rules are simple. There are no rules. Win and get your freedom. Or die trying.
Who's the new guy?
Jensen Ames. He used to race for NASCAR. They say he killed his wife.
I guess he didn't like the old Miguel.
I want you to drive for me.
Unless you think I'm gonna risk my life doing this for you.
I'm offering you your freedom. All you have to do is walk off that track alive. And win, of course.
The race takes place in 3 stages over 3 days. Tomorrow you meet your navigator.
They get bussed in from the women's facility.
So what about the other drivers?
It's kill or be killed. I'm gonna win this race because I want out of here.
Time to meet the monster. Mustang V8 Fastback. 3/4-inch steel plate for defense. Smoke, oil, and napalm. And 30mm machine guns for offense.
It's on.
Now that's entertainment.
You sure are lucky a driver like me just happened to turn up in your prison.
Oh, I'm more than lucky.
You're out in front. Who are you gonna shoot at?
You don't go backwards.
He knows we set him up. What are we gonna do?
We're going to kill him.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Go, go, go!
What just happened?
Can't kill me. You can burn me, you can shoot me, but you can't kill me!
Moving on a little bit, just very quickly talk about Flash Rebirth.
Sure.
How much, clearly it's about Flash, but how much is this a thematic sequel to Green Lantern?
Very much a thematic sequel. Hopefully lightning can't strike twice. That's what we're...
Line
good.
Line of the copy.
Yeah, it is copy. Flash Rebirth, lightning strikes twice. It very much is thematically tied to Green Lantern, but again, it's its own story. Flash is its own universe, and that's what we want to build is a sub-universe, the Flash universe, rather than have Flash be his own character. And really pulling back and examining what I did on the book, what everybody else has done on the book, and where I can go next. And delving in, trying to crack my head open more on the nature of what it is to be a speedster in this day and age.
Why do you love it? He runs fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his thing. Why do you love that so much? What about him?
He's always been my favorite character because he's always on the move. He's always going. He's always doing something. He always has something to do. And he'll never rest. Like, he'll never stop running. I just love that. This guy who always is moving because he has to do the right thing. He has to, he has to find justice. And Barry Allen's a very different character than Wally West or J.K. or Bart Allen. So it's really fun to get inside his head and just look at it from a new perspective. He skipped the Bronze Age, he skipped this huge age of comic book development. So he never, he disappeared in '85. So we've never really had modern day stories. Like his origins right now is just a lightning bolt hit him and he ran. And so we're peeling back a lot of things about who he is and how he came to be and why he is the way he is in the series as well.
Do you see this might be a little premature, but part of a series of rebirths? That you have Green Lantern, Flash, and then...
Who knows? I think Ethan and I are being extremely careful on... We don't want to, I'm not going to do, airwave rebirth, but...
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fans are calling.
Yeah, sorry, Stuart Schreck at DC loves airwave. Sorry, Stuart. I think Ethan and I are being very careful about what we do. Like this project is extremely special to both of us because Flash is our favorite character. And you know, who knows? We know what we're going to do next. It's not necessarily Rebirth, though, but we know what we're going to do after Flash Rebirth. But we'll see if there's another one. Right now, we're concentrating on just this.
You use, in a lot of the books, right, you use continuity, and with such a light touch, though. It's not like you have to have read everything to use it. Is that, how do you work around that or use that in a way that makes it accessible but also honoring it?
I just use continuity. Like, if you look at most of the stories I do, if I use continuity, it's all about character. So if it's not about character, I am not going to really get my hands dirty on it, or I'm not going to try and shape into something else. But like Green Lantern Rebirth, every continuity bit in there is all about Hal Jordan's character. And if it doesn't affect his character, then it's not part of the story. So I just try and streamline it down, strip it down to what's going to affect the character on an emotional level. And everything else is background noise.
Yeah. I mean, right now what you're doing on Green Lantern, all of it is pretty much about his relationship with his father.
Yeah, it is. And it's a relationship with himself and his father. And he's never had a really great relationship with a woman in his life, or his family. Like, he's struggling still with his brother, and he's not very in touch with certain emotions inside. He's been so obsessed with overcoming fear and showing he can do it and always leaping in the fray. He hasn't really let himself experience or deal with other pieces of his life. There's actually some
pieces of the emotional spectrum.
Exactly. But there's something coming up in Secret Origin where you'll see Sinestro teach Hal a pretty big lesson that puts him on a path that I guess is all about dealing with that. But yeah, they're great characters. It's Hal and Sinestro. Love those two together.
Well, great. Thank you so much for taking the time, Geoff. We really appreciate it.
Always good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Yeah. And you guys, stay tuned for plenty more from San Diego Comic-Con.
So you guys just freeze, or do you do the fake talking?
Oh yeah, we're happy to do that. Oh. Yeah.